The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the issue of sovereignty and protecting that sovereignty coming up again. Tonight, former House Speaker Halson Moultrie says he still has more questions about who is awarded a passport, as he is coming up more and more on people who do not speak English. And guess what? They are in a possession of a Bahamian passport. We talk about that and more tonight. Also tonight, police reservists say they have not been paid since December. For many of them, it's their only source of income. Tonight, we talk about it, and I'll share what my investigation or initial investigation has revealed. Also tonight, a closer look at the indecent assault allegations committed by a male teacher, allegedly of the R.M. Bailey Senior High School. Just what did he do to the 15-year-old male student? We talk about that as well for you. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, the issue of passports and granting of passports, who is qualified to hold a Bahamian passport, and just how many of them are floating out there, again, in the headlines on social media, is what people are talking about, Bahamian people. You've seen in recent time a number of persons have been hauled before the courts, foreigners, Bahamians, charged with either fraud or the possession of illegal documents, or even fraudulent Bahamian passports. How is it happening? You saw last evening I had on this show the Chief Passport Officer, Nicholas Simonet, who talked about steps that are taking and an audit done by his department that revealed these various loopholes and revealed the fraud acts that are happening, and how, of course, it led to the prosecution of those that we saw hauled before the courts just Monday of this week. And so, many of you, though, are still very much on the fence. You have concern about the fact that these Bahamian passports are now just appearing a little too common in the hands of too many people that do not qualify to have them and hold those very sacred documents. Joining me this evening on the show, at the top of tonight's show, is former House Speaker Halson Moultrie. Good evening to you, Mr. Speaker. It's good to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be here.
I know that you paid very close attention last evening to that interview with the Chief Passport Officer, Nicholas Simonet, because you've been hammering home this message of sovereignty, this message of citizenship, and all of the documents and accoutrements that accompany that for quite some time now. Yes. And you are quite concerned also about the number of fraudulent documents that are turning up in the hands of foreigners.
Yes, I listened and I watched the show last night because I was concerned that we are not taking this breach of our sovereignty and our Constitution very seriously. I was surprised to hear the Chief Passport Officer say that he can only speak for himself, which to me is an expression of a lack of confidence in the persons that he's supervisor of.
Wait, you're saying you were surprised to hear him say that when I asked the question, did the investigation or audit reveal anybody in his department who may be compromised? And when he said, listen, I can only spare for myself, you're saying you found that surprising?
I found that surprising because I read that as a lack of confidence in the very staff that he works for.
Oh, wow, that's a way to interpret
it. And also, I think the Minister of Foreign Affairs should be also concerned if the chief passport officer is indicating a lack of confidence in others who work with him. And perhaps he knows something. Perhaps he knows why he cannot vouch for those other persons. Because there are a number of things happening in this country with respect to the granting of citizenship that is unconstitutional, number one, and the government seems to be forging ahead with the granting of citizenship under the Bahamas Nationality Act, even though they are fully aware that the Bahamas Nationality Act cannot be extended without a referendum, because
what is the Bahamas Nationality Act? Many of us aren't familiar.
Bahamas Nationality Act is the act of parliament that the Department of Immigration and the government is using to justify the naturalization of persons who are seeking citizenship in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
So that's not the part of the law, the immigration law that says, for example, people who were born here and once they get to the age of 18, they have that window to apply. That's not that you're speaking of.
Well, that's the Constitution.
Okay.
So when you miss that window of opportunity, the Bahamas Nationality Act cannot catch those persons.
Also, this is what you're saying. So many people do miss that window.
Many have missed that window.
Right.
But they have a policy at the Department of Immigration that permits them to consider those persons' application. And if you look in the newspaper on an almost daily basis now, you can see numbers of persons making applications under the Bahamas Nationality Act to gain citizenship. Now, what concerns me with that is that we are creating what I call fake and pseudo Bahamians, because those persons are fictitious. Most of them who are making these applications, they are not Bahamians, but they have Bahamian names. And I brought some information with me this evening, some evidence. So what you have happening is, on a daily basis now in the newspaper, you can see persons giving notices.
Well, we've noticed that and discussed it on the show, yes.
Yes. Numerous notices appearing in the papers where people are
how
seeking.
do you explain that? Because we have seen Chinese trying to change their names to Bahamian names. Why? And or even any other nationality, Haitians, wherever else, from wherever else. Because the thing is, we know the laws of immigration as it relates to citizenship, but this changing of name is almost as though, like, who are we granting these citizenships to?
Yes, we have to do our due diligence. So what I decided to do, I said, you know what I would do? I would get a digital copy of the voters register, because I suspected that a number of these persons' names would show up on the register.
Is that automatic? Once you've granted citizenship, that your name automatically goes to the...
It shouldn't be automatic, but once you are granted citizenship, and you got a Bahamian passport document, then you can go to the Parliamentary Registration Department.
And register.
And the Parliamentary Registration Department, if they accept that document as being authentic, would then register you as a voter. So when I examine the digital register at the Parliamentary Registration Department, I notice something very strange. For example, here's a gentleman, I won't call his name, but these are easily verifiable facts. He made an application in 2024 to become a Bahamian. The notice is published in the newspapers. But when I checked him out on the register...
He is on the register?
He is on the register, but according to the register, he was on the register from 2017. He was on the register from 2017, and he's applying for citizenship in 2024.
Mr. Speaker, are we should listen, this look like a tangled web. Are we sure we are speaking about the same individual?
The same individual. That's why I need the Parliamentary Registration Department to explain to the Bahamian people.
Is this the individual here, or is someone different?
These are number one. This is the person.
This is the person here.
And the second is another person. I brought 5 examples.
Oh, okay. This individual who just applied, he is on the 2021 Parliamentary Registrar. However, he just in the newspaper applied for name change and citizenship.
He's applying for naturalization in 2024 to become a Bahamian citizen.
Yes.
But he appears on the register from
I see this.
2017.
Parliamentary Registration Department. What does this mean? This is when the updated version.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is from the portal. They have a portal at the Parliamentary Registration Department. You can go and examine it.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what does this suggest? What is this saying? Because if this person has been on the Parliamentary Registrar registration since 2021, no doubt may have voted in the 2021 election, but in last year, just
Yes.
applying for naturalization, which is citizenship.
Yes.
What are we saying?
What
are you saying?
What it means is that illegal immigrants, this is implying that illegal immigrants have been able to somehow to register and vote in our elections prior to becoming citizens, even prior to making an application to become a citizen. And that is a serious, serious breach of our sovereignty. And I think if we don't address this matter very, very soon, we're going to live to regret it.
What is the trouble about that? I mean, we see Trump now saying, listen, we have to go back to basically Americanization. You know that thing we have about Bahamianization? He is basically saying Americanization in terms of America first. The fact that you are now suggesting that we are playing with something as sacred as the vote, as allegedly, according to you and your research, playing with the registrar's register. And so therefore just, I don't know, treating it very cheaply and allowing anybody access to it. What does that mean for this nation?
What it really means is that we are being annexed by these, what I call fictitious people. These people who come to the Bahamas either get some corrupt person in the Parliamentary Registration Department or in the passport office to issue them a fraudulent document, or perhaps even arrive here with a fraudulent document prepared in another nation.
Well, we know that's happening as well, reportedly.
Are able to put themselves in a position and exercise the rights that are reserved only for Bahamian citizens.
And you hold firm to your view that you feel as though there is more going on in the passport office than the audit revealed.
Oh yes, much more. And I believe the chief passport officer is aware of it, and that is why he won't vouch for anyone but himself. Because there's just too many things that are going on that are inconsistent with the procedure and policy that he enunciated. Just too much of it going on.
It does beg a lot of questions.
I had a situation,
yes,
this was personal experience, where I went to the magistrate court. And at the magistrate court, there's a identification bench now and a requirement that you have to produce an identification as you enter the building. Well, there were about 6 or 7 persons that produced a Bahamian passport. But when we got up to the court, those persons needed an interpreter.
Interpreter for what?
For the language. They couldn't speak English.
But wait a minute now, we know the qualifications of, well, you know what? I want you to go and talk about these various sort of sub-areas that a person can gain permanent residency or naturalization in a minute. But ordinarily in the Bahamas, you qualify for citizenship through being born here, reaching the age of 18, and have that window to apply for citizenship. Then clearly these people have not been living in the Bahamas if they don't speak English and needed an interpreter.
They cannot speak English at all.
This happened at the courts?
At the courts. They produced a Bahamian passport as their document of identification, but they needed an interpreter.
You recently, I think this is dated last year, almost a year ago, you wrote into the passport office, to the chief passport officer, asking for several bits and pieces of information. Why?
I was concerned that passports were being issued, or perhaps could have been issued, to persons who were naturalized under the Bahamas Nationality Act. And so I wrote in to the passport officer, the chief passport officer, and to the director of the Department of Immigration, and I requested a report on the number of passports issued to persons who were naturalized under the Bahamas Nationality Act, and for persons who were issued Bahamian citizenship. And I wrote to the Department of Immigration, Mr. Pratt at the Department of Immigration, and I wanted to know the number of lawful permanent residencies granted, the number of refugees admissions, the naturalization certificates issued, the certificates of citizenship issued, the illegal immigrants repatriated. And those letters were done in March 2024.
What was the response?
And there was not even an acknowledgement of receipt of the letter. And that is why I watched the program last night, and I was surprised to hear the chief passport officer saying how accountable and transparent they are when Bahamian citizens are seeking information, and they are not even acknowledging receipt of the request.
What is the fare for Bahamians right now? Last night when you watched, you heard me describe to him that there is fare, there is concern, and rightfully so. For example, I gave the example of the United States getting ready whenever they decide to deport, and many people will be holding a Bahamian passport, real or fake. And these are people that we will have to accommodate, though, because they have that passport. Is that part of the fare?
That is part of the fare, and I think that is a part of the exposure that is going to happen very shortly. Once the U.S. begins to deport those persons, and I understand they have already identified 426
plus, yeah.
Persons who they claim have been involved in criminal activity in the United States. Well, if those persons have a Bahamian document, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Bahamas government to reject or refuse to accept them. And so exposure is going to happen because we're going to find out whether those documents were prepared in the Bahamas and issued out of the passport office, or whether those persons were able to somehow gain those documents perhaps in another country before coming to the Bahamas, or from another country while they were in the Bahamas before they entered the United States.
I tell you, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Listen, thank you very much. This is quite interesting, a topic that Bahamians are still quite keen on and paying very close attention to. The matter of our sovereignty, the matter of these Bahamian documents, in particular our passports that are turning up in too many hands. Too many hands. We have noticed too in the newspapers the name changes. In fact, it's stunning to see the name changes and what they want to change to. And so again.
Yes, because if you look at these. The few examples that I brought. This one is a Clark. The next one is a Palmer. And these don't sound. What the next one? Well, this seems like a foreign name. The next one is a Joseph. and another foreign name. And interestingly, some of these people reside in Ragged Island Street. You know, that's Angliston. Some
Mr. Speaker, leave it right there.
Some reside in Fox Hill, in the minister's constituency, who's responsible for the passport office. So it opens up a whole can of worms that the Bahamian people need to be very concerned that we don't have representing us in our parliament, Benedict Arnold type of persons who are carrying out treasonous action against the Bahamian people.
How long has this been going on? And this is because when you said from 2021, who has come up short? It seems many people, over a long period of time.
I think this has been going on for quite some time.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
But it must come to an end.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, and the Bahamian people agree with you as well. Thank you very much, former Speaker of the House, Halson Moultrie, this evening, breaking down this matter of citizenships, of passports, of name changes, and more. He had more to say, but of course, we have to wrap up this segment. I thank you once again, former Speaker of the House, Halson Moultrie. Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure, sir. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll get some thoughts on what he had to say, and also moving forward, a little more information about what the R.M. Bailey teacher is alleged to have done on campus. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back after this.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production. Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where you see Saturday the 29th of March.
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no Magdalena shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flare or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel I go did it.
Hello, ambitious women. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? This is your chance to shine. I'm Adriana Fox, co-founder of the Fox Foundation.
And I'm Adriel Fox, legacy advocate of the Fox Foundation.
We're thrilled to announce the second annual Women's Entrepreneurship Episode Grant Initiative, created to empower and support women like you who are making waves in the business world.
This year, we're offering $75,000 in grants to female entrepreneurs with innovative business ideas in undersaturated markets and industries that have yet to reach their full potential. Our top 3 prizes are $25,000 for first place, $20,000 for second place, and $15,000 for third place. In addition, 7 runner-ups will receive $2,000.
We encourage businesses such as those in digital markets like web innovations, AI-driven service, niche e-commerce, or emerging industries such as green technologies, health tech, cultural tourism, and personalized educational platform. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or tackling that big idea that needs a financial boost, this grant is for you. Last year, we funded 10 incredible entrepreneurs, and this year, it could be you.
Imagine what you could achieve with the funding to grow your dreams.
Apply now and join a powerful community of women entrepreneurs leading the way. Applications are open from January 31st to February 28th. Don't wait. Visit our website for more information. This is your opportunity to break into a growing market and make an impact. Apply today and let's build a future of unstoppable women entrepreneurs together.
What? You don't know who TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, boy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to jump right in because we have a lot to get to in the next two segments. We're first going to have the Hot Topics panel just sort of dissect what the Speaker had to say. We heard last evening the Chief Passport Officer on this show, Nicholas Simonet, talk about what's happening at the Passport Office, the fact that the audit was initiated by his department and discovered these various loopholes and fraudulent activities happening, people submitting fraudulent documents, and because of suspicion, they carried out an audit, which according to him is ongoing. Well, the Speaker says, listen, fingers still point though to something happening, something other and additional to what he's saying happening at the Passport Office. We're going to jump right in there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Michael Turnquest and Ellington Ferguson. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Good to be back.
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be here with you once again.
Good to have you both. Guys, you heard the speaker, the former speaker in the first segment. You know the issue with passports and citizenships and name changes. We have talked about it several times here on the show. And the increase in name changes being posted, and requests being posted in the newspapers. Your thoughts, though, on just what he had to say. And even, remember now, earlier this week, Monday, people were charged for fraudulent passports, being in possession of it, and documents. But this is really something that Bahamians are paying keen attention to.
Absolutely, Shanique, and I think when you listen to some of the information that the former speaker gave, I think it lends to a wider discussion. And I think if the passport office is not aware of some of the things that he spoke to, Department of Immigration are not aware of it, they should have a conversation with him, because it's some scathing thing that he mentioned. People that are now applying for citizenship have already been on our voters registration. I think, and Mr. Simonet mentioned that this is going to be an ongoing investigation or ongoing audit within that department. The former speaker also spoke about the fact of when these people comes home, who the United States have already gave a certain number, that we can't just tell them you reach home, go wherever you live, go find your family. No, I think we've got to look at these people closely and say, let me see your document, and let's see where this document was issued. Let's see the signature on these documents. And thankfully, the passport officer, Mr. Simonet, was careful not to put his head on the chopping block for anyone. He just recently taken up the post a few years ago. And we're not sure whose signature is going to show up on these documents, where these documents was issued, whether they were issued here in the Bahamas or in the country where these persons would have originated from. And so there's a lot of questions, and hopefully the government would give these agencies the necessary resources and equipment they need to do these audits and these investigations, and so that we can ensure the security of our borders, ensure our national security. These things are very serious, because if the average person can do these with these sacred documents, that mean persons that mean to do us harm can do it even more easily. And so we need to protect this. People that works in these office needs to know that, no, we're not playing. We're serious about protecting our national sovereignty, and we're not going to leave no stones unturned. And so whether you're still there or you were there and have left, but once your signature appear on these things and we can trace it back to you, we're going to deal with you to the full brunt of the law. and this must be understood by every Bahamian citizen, every Bahamian that works in these in the public service sector that handling these kind of sensitive areas, immigration, the passport office, etc., Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and everything, all of these overseas offices. We must ensure of our national security.
You know, Shanique, I think, you know, it's going to have to be really a forensic, you know, audit that's going to have to take place to really see, because, you know, at the end of the day, it can be one or two things. You can have it internally happening within government agencies that are allowing this to happen. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the material that makes up the passport, most of that is imported. You know, a lot of that is not produced here locally in terms of what way you would do, you know, whether the emblem, the hologram, and things of that sort. You know, so, you know, it might have happened at the dock where persons would have taken, you know, documents and basically sold them off. It's going to have to be a widespread forensic audit in terms of to find out, you know, where's the loopholes happening. And if it is happening at the passport office, you know, then there's now national insurance involved. There's
Well, I'll tell you, NIB and Immigration were, Michael and Ellington were a part of the audit investigation. Yeah. So you called another right department, like what's really happening? You know,
you heard, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, you heard now, it happened, you know, when my daughter was born, where I applied for a passport, you know, we had to actually take our daughter to the actual passport for them to identify, you know, even though she was only of, you know, I think 9 months, you know, but these are the things that's going to force, you know, persons to verification. You know, they want to hold the baby, touch, feel, you know, things like that in order.
But he did actually, you're right. He said that last night, like they have now, it's so many different steps now to get that one document.
Yeah.
And it's necessary because each step on the process to attaining a Bahamian passport is very necessary now to ensure that all loopholes are closed.
You know, but and then even further, once the audit is finished and whatever comes out, you know, I would hope that the courts penalize if it's found that the persons within government agencies are handing out falsified documents or giving or even facilitating falsified documents to get a passport. You know, we need to make sure these people are penalized to the fullest. Even if we have to start changing the laws now to ensure that nobody's just getting a slap on the wrist or fine. We are talking about, this is our, you know, national sovereignty.
It is.
You know, we talk about...
I mean, it's the one piece of document that officially identifies you as Bahamian.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a sacred document.
And I've always said, we continue to issue citizenship to this one, the next one. A lot of people, give them residency. We continue to give anybody citizenship. Oh, you've been here for a long time, you get citizenship. Let's stop that foolishness. Give you, and when you go to the U.S., you know, of course, people stay there.
Yeah, but there are steps.
Right, they get their green card, and then they go.
Residency
we
and
just
all
go
this
through.
Stuff, yeah.
We just go. Hey, you get a passport. You get a passport. Everybody get a passport. We have to stop playing with the sovereignty of our people and start to have a real process in place and make sure people do actually understand what is our coat of arms, what is our national everything. Ask questions, not just issue things and then say, okay, yeah, you got a lot of people holding Bahamian passports who can't tell you what our national bird is, our national sport.
But some can't speak English. Yeah, you don't have a national bird and sport. Bahamians don't know that. Some of these people can't speak English. You heard the former speaker in the first segment. He said in court, in court, this ain't just down the street trying to order bamboo shack. In court, here are the people coming there, I guess for whatever the reason is, some legal issue. And the court had to provide interpreters because they didn't even know hello and good morning. They didn't even know that.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I mean, we are either we're gonna make at the end of the day our national our number one language is gonna be Creole because the same as with us, because at the end of the day, every time you talk to somebody and you see they're holding documents, be like, you try to talk to them, like, no English. How you could be holding a driver's license? I mean, maybe some people they actually get an actual passport, but don't speak, like you said, don't speak a lick of English.
Don't dismiss the Chinese we saw filing in and out of those buildings like ants. Remember last week we talked about that? I mean, like a pile. Forgive me. That perhaps sounds very, in today's world. It was meant to be just a bit in jest. What I'm saying though, there seemed to be a stream, just a never-ending stream of these people walking back and forth in and out of doors in a building somewhere on East Street area. I'm thinking it is, and we saw in the newspaper last week or the week before the Chinese going from whoever Chang and Wang and Wong to Davis and Miller and Ferguson. It was time.
Absolutely. We must be careful. I'll give you a second. We must be careful as we go forth with developing this small country.
Still under 500,000 people. See, and that's why we row to protect and guard it and safeguard it, because according to the latest census, still not even 400,000.
Not even, exactly, completely. And so, yes, as we continue to build the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we're going to need outside help, but we must be deliberate and guarded about who we get,
and
when
we must know who we bring in,
and from where we get these people. We must not allow people here because under the guise that we need others, let them come illegally and say we need other people. No, we must be more careful. We must be more deliberate about building this nation. We must be more deliberate about the security and the sovereignty of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, or else we're going to find out one day, like Sir Lyndon said, that we won't have it. You won't have it. And so
we don't fight for it.
We can't play with these things. And yes, leaders of this country, whether you're PLPF and MCOI, we can't play with our sovereignty. We can't play. We got to deal with this. It is a very sensitive matter.
But I want to touch on something. You know, we spoke about Chinese, and this is something that I've thought about this for many years, and to see what the government, in terms of our government entities, whether it be business license and things of that sort, we spoke about this before, in terms of what they're entitled to and how easy they get it and it's issued to them. And you look at the Chinese businesses that pop up everywhere around in the inner cities, where, you know, I'm pretty sure, I don't think they could think that it's unnoticed in terms of restaurants mixed with wholesale bars and things of that sort. Someone cannot tell me the Chinese government has to be funding their own people in the Bahamas, that in terms of helping them to set up these businesses throughout the breadth of the Bahamas, especially Nassau, because they have completely taken over the inner city in terms of what Bahamians should be owning. Bahamian ownership. They are completely taking over the inner city. I mean, they're opening businesses as quick as you could. I mean, purchasing buildings and opening buildings, and anything that has an apartment complex on top, you could guarantee you it's purchased.
And ruining communities and neighborhoods, guys. And it's not the proper. They are defying every zone law, if we have any.
Yes.
They are defying them, and they are redefining where they're going to put business. So there's somebody's house right there, street little house, then a bar. There was just the Chinese, and the restaurant that's selling the most ugly food that Bahamians do not need because you're still obese with all the different non-communicable issues that accompany that, and yet they selling this high sodium. Fried everything.
Yeah. But Shanique, a Bahamian will go and apply. A Bahamian will go and apply for a business license, no matter what it is. It's a bar, liquor store, and you know what they would tell you? Oh, it's too many bars on the strip. And I guarantee you, 3-4 months later, you would have a Chinese go purchase a building, and that's up in 6 months, open, no questions asked.
Again,
and what it include? A bar and a restaurant, eh?
Oh, they do bar, restaurant,
are the guardians.
Wholesale.
We are the guardians of these chain of islands, this archipelago that God has blessed us with. 9 out of 10 times, or let me just say, in a lot of cases, I know a lot of grocery stores that used to be Bahamian owned, and before you know it, the Bahamian is out and the Chinese is in. Most of those stores, those liquor licenses, a lot of them are owned by Bahamian. They're on the Bahamian name. We continue to sell out for cheap, just rather than put our hard work in and put the work in. If we could just get them to pay us a couple dollars to use our license.
Yeah, but so as long as they put that little thing every month.
I disagree.
So we've got to stop selling out. We're responsible for all of this stuff.
Bahamians are lazy as well. Poor work ethic, not interested.
I disagree.
And that's a
they have some connection.
I disagree. Here's why I disagree. I disagree. Don't not say Bahamians are selling out and giving the Chinese all their licenses, because there's a lot of Bahamians. The Chinese were the first one to ever have a bar, a wholesale bar license mixed with a so-called to-go restaurant. When I had applied for my restaurant and I tried to only sell beers, I had the wing zone right on the corner of not on the corner, the roundabout of Village Road. I fought tooth and nail just to get a liquor license to sell beer. They told me no, repeatedly no. A business license unit. Then the Chinese right down the road had a wholesale liquor store. I'm selling food.
It's us.
But you are agreeing with me just on a different scale. Because again, it's a Bahamian up in that office that gives that license.
It's us fighting against each other.
Yes, but don't say the Bahamians are selling their license.
Both.
Don't say that.
On a
No,
lower
some
level,
are. I'm sure some are.
I'm sure, but don't say all
It's still
because
Bahamian.
you have some Bahamians.
The point about it is, though, gentlemen, what Michael is saying and what you are saying, sometimes the powers that be, whoever they are, want to keep their foot on Bahamians' neck.
Powers that be.
Speaking of keep foot on Bahamians' necks, let's go to Grand Bahama. Okay, this happened earlier today. As you all know, Grand Bahama is really, the wheels are turning there, looking really attractive. It's things beginning to kick off. Well, Justin, how much that is? Justin, don't cut my time. Don't cut my time tonight. Don't play with me tonight. We're going to be right back after this.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711 and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Cashmas time, here we go. Mercy's doing it big this year. Cashmas time with extra chair. 12 days of merry winnings from your friends at Island Bay. Friends we trust, hey we know. Cashmas time, here we go. Prizes and lots of dough. This Christmas, come catch a lick with 20 on your account. Quick, quick, quick. And you can win some awesome stuff at Percy's Island Bay. Yeah.
My name is Limburg Smith. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for both Oasis Fresh and Tropic Shipping. Oasis Fresh is a new fresh produce store located in Lyford Storage and Commerce Park, and we sell fresh produce, meats, dairy, and whole foods. We partner with EV because we also offer delivery services to our clients. We offer it to commercial clients and residential clients. And with the purchase of new carry vans, it helps us to deliver our products faster, more efficiently, and it's cost saving to us. So we are very grateful for the partner with EV Motors in regards to our new fleet of vehicles. We used to spend about $220 per se per vehicle, having about 7 vehicles on the road for both our companies, Oasis Fresh and Tropics, which would cost us about $80,000 a year just on fuel. So you can imagine just how happy we are now with our new EV fleet. There was nothing better than a seamless process of getting new vehicles for our company to help us proceed and be more efficient in the way we operate our business.
Ultra Games turns 8, and it's your chance to participate in the Ultra winning experience. Here's how to win. Play with Ultra Games all month long, and with every 5 reward points earned, you will receive 1 electronic entry to win your share of $100,000 in our anniversary raffle drawing on March 1st. Also join us on the Infinity Store Tour in-store all month and enter to win $1,500 just for a $20 deposit at your favorite Ultra Games store. Kicking off at our Sea Grapes Plaza location February 14th. Visit ultragames.com or our socials for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Ultra Games, unleash your luck.
So you want a space But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to jump right in because these segments are getting shorter and shorter. Let me just run.
It's global warming.
That's what it is. I thought it was something a little extra happening. Listen, of course, welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. The Hot Topics panelists are here with me. Michael Turnquest, Ellington Ferguson. We're going to go out. We were talking really about Bahamianization. Yes, Bahamians are feeling, many feel, and you know what? Their concerns are legitimate, really. So in Grand Bahama, earlier today, you saw it on Eyewitness News on our social media, business owners in the Arlukaya area are very upset because they feel they're being pushed out and denied access to what will be an amazing business mecca when the Carnival Cruise Port is completed or opened. Many people are jostling for position there, and rightly so, because that'll be where all the action is, one of the areas. But listen to this business owner who was denied that hotspot at the Carnival Cruise site on port, and then we'll talk.
My disappointment is that it's supposed to be for Grand Bahamians, but I'm not seeing that at all. We were very excited about the new cruise port, and it was an opportunity for us to, expand our business, because where we are now in the Port Lukai marketplace, things are a little bit, on the down end. So this was very exciting for us. However, we went through all the channels so that we could apply and get a spot, open a store, and that didn't happen for us. So I reached out to find out, what's going on, and they told us that they decided to give it to a very large jewelry store, and that store wasn't Grand Bahamian owned. And there are 3 jewelry stores that are prominent stores in Grand Bahama, and none of us were given the opportunity to set up shop. So my disappointment is that it's supposed to be for Grand Bahamians, but I'm not seeing that at all. And that's not just for the jewelry business. I've spoken to other persons who own their businesses in Grand Bahama, and they also were not given that opportunity.
Well, you guys, what do you make of this? I mean, because I know, this by secondhand information, so I have to find out. Okay, I'll tell you what by secondhand information I was told in December, that there's a Bahamian business that it does have a spot. That has to be confirmed. But really, truly, it appears as though many people, you heard the lady, that they won't be able to have a spot in what will be the hottest spot, biggest tourist attraction, I imagine, on the island of Grand Bahama, that is now just being revived.
Shanique, one would ask itself, at the end of the day, is it the same status quo in terms of who are getting these stores? I'm pretty sure, because some things as though she was referring to the jewelry stores, that she was not given the opportunity. I'm pretty sure if you were to do further investigation and find out whether it be 3 or 4 jewelry stores allowed in, you won't be surprised in terms of who those individuals are. I'm pretty sure our listening or our audience who are out there watching, I'm pretty sure they can call a few names and say, okay, we're sure this person and this person they're in there. It's the same. At the end of the day, these cruise ports that we're so-called opening up, even the one in New Providence and our so-called, millions and millions of tourists that are visiting through our ports, they are staying right in that vicinity.
Because they've become a destination.
Yeah.
Those cruise ports now have become a destination, like the one here.
You would ask yourself, what is it? It looks good on the numbers, but what is it actually doing for the people of that island, the people of that, even right here in New Providence? We see now Royal Caribbean Cruise is about to open up there, right across from the port. I mean, you are basically creating a little bubble that will not not get over the hill. It's not going to touch those that really need it. And you're still going to allow in these ports just particular individuals who are already the wealthy of the Bahamas, of Nassau, of Freeport, Grand Bahama, and it still doesn't trickle down to where it needs to get to.
Shanique, and we hear these discussion about these HOA, these heads of agreement, and they talk about the first thing you hear come out of it, jobs for Bahamians and all of this type of stuff.
We tired of jobs, man. Shoots. And what the job is, sir, how would you like your conch? How would you like it cracked?
Even if on that level. And our leaders have got to reconsider. It appears that when they sit to negotiate, on the benefit of these entities that wants to come in here and themselves to tout what they call their accomplishment, which obviously the Bahamian is left out and we are second thought. The lady spoke about the fact that the business that a local Grand Bahamian, this island that has been suffering for so long, this island whose economy we try to turn around, and they're applying for these places to open shop, and you could give it to a shop that's come out of New Providence or wherever else it come from out of Grand Bahama. I think we're lost as it relates to developing this nation. We're out of whack. We don't have a vision. We're not steering towards a clear path. And our people continue to be left on the sidelines, scraping for the crumbs. This is unfortunate. Again, I say we've got to be deliberate about how we're doing things. We've got to be deliberate about empowering people, Bahamians. We're either serious about it or we're not. Okay, these entities that comes here, they got to know that the bottom line, whatever you're going to bring here, it is to benefit Bahamian.
But not only that, but when it comes, one second, Michael, because Michael and Ellington, when it comes also to negotiating these heads of agreements, it really should be said. We've talked about what the I Group is now beginning to do after many years, but they saw the dilapidated state of that little cardboard building in Mayaguana as the airport. They are stepping in. I think that moving forward, that heads of agreement must have something in it where they give to some national infrastructural project, ongoing.
You need leaders with that kind of thinking.
But not even that. Not even that. We continue, it's look as though we believe more in foreign ownership than in terms of trying to say, tell Bahamians, you can own it. The Chinese, they do it all the time. They send their people out to all around the world, and they invest in their people in terms of owning businesses, ownership in other places as well as China. When you go to China to do business, you got to partner with the Chinese in order to, if you want to do manufacturing, this, that, the next, you have to find new ways in terms of to make sure you're basically building up Bahamians, not foreign ownership. Yeah, Dubai does it. Foreigners don't own anything in Dubai. The locals they own all the land.
But you know what's funny, Michael? Many administrations I've heard that thought before from a number of administrations, meaning governments then. And they've kind of pushed that message that, listen, when the foreign investor comes, we want to ensure that they partner with Bahamians to make things happen, that Bahamians are empowered.
Shanique, that's an opposition language. Well, once they get in power, that's shit. That's opposition language. And unless we empower these for Bahamians, unless we begin to own the tourism product, and they tout the amount of people that's coming here, but we don't own it. When those people come here, that money is already paid someplace in the world where their head office is at. Ain't nobody that's coming and pay no money in no place here. The majority of those money never see the Bahama Islands land. And we've got to shift the way we do things if we're going to develop a sustainable economy. We've got to change.
We continue to allow the foreigners to come here and milk the land. The monies leave. And
it never come here.
I mean, first of all, the transaction has happened here. At the end of the day, the money is wired out. It's a pass-through. You're using it as a pass-through economy, whereas though, okay, they go, they make an investment, then money might be in the ground, but that return on that investment leaves, all that leaves. Of course, paychecks are paid, but at the end, it still does not lead to Bahamian ownership.
Gentlemen, both points are right. This argument is much needed and needs to be expanded further. We will revisit it, of course. That matter again happening in Grand Bahama, where businesses really want access.
That's unfortunate.
We know the economy in Grand Bahama is just now showing some signs of, hey, something could be happening. So people want to get in where they could fit in nicely and benefit. And so, of course, we heard the lady said that as it stands now, she and her business and quite a number of others that she knows of have been denied the access. And so we will follow that up for sure. But meanwhile, let's just get to this before we run out of time in this segment. Reserve police officers have not been paid since December. This is what they are saying. In fact, something that has been handed to me, it says, police reserves are facing a significant issue regarding the non-payment of their salaries since December of last year. The situation has caused great distress among the reserve police officers who rely heavily on this income to support their families and cover essential expenses. Many reserve officers depend on their salaries to pay for needs, again, the living and all the rest of it. Gentlemen, before you both jump in, I'd like to say that I did some digging and speaking with people in a few ministries and departments to find out what's going on. I did attempt to reach out to the Commissioner of Police. Those attempts have been unsuccessful.
You know, it's so funny. I had somebody
You can interrupt the host, but go ahead.
So earlier this week, a reservist, police reservist, apologize, who came and said, you know, we have not been paid. I had somebody from, I think it's BAMSI or Agriculture, said, you know, we haven't been paid for a week or two. I mean, we've said this over and over.
Okay, don't go further because I have some information to share. Now, here is what I am learning. This is just initial investigation, what was told to me. We will continue to follow this as it relates to the police reserve pay. What is happening is there is, admittedly, a group of reserve police officers who have not been paid since December or however long it is. And here's what's happening, gentlemen. These officers are not quite honest, according to my sources, and well-placed sources at that. What is the trend many times? Either they have someone sign it, they are posted to a number of areas, but in particular police stations, let's say overnight. So they would go there and they would work and have to work 8 hours. And if, you know, they may put in an hour here or there, and then they skip out. Or have someone sign in and say they were there. And apparently this has been discovered. And for that reason, people are saying, pay for what? Why? How would you can pay for you not being there or showing up for an hour or two and then leaving? How we can pay you? So apparently this is an investigation. Apparently the Commissioner of Police is aware. The same Commissioner, Shanta Knowles, is aware, and she's asked them to give her some time to look into it so she properly can address it. She didn't say that to me because I can't seem to reach her. However, this is what I'm understanding that she has told them because they've brought it to her attention as well. You know, she is new to the chair, relatively new to the chair. And so, but this is what's going on. Now, gentlemen, one thing with us, we can try get over however we can. I'm not at all fighting these men and women should be paid. But come on, man, show up to work if indeed this is one of the issues that's stopping the payment.
Absolutely, Shanique. And if this goes as you say, I'm happy to hear that it is being dealt with because there is too much of this that is taking place in this country. Somebody talked about an incident that happened in the House of Assembly a few years ago where a member of Parliament revealed that somebody was incarcerated in prison and collecting their money. There's too much of these corruption takes place in our country, and our people need to know that if you hired, not because you have been getting away with it and you think you could dodge under the radar and do these things, no, it's going to be found out. And good, decent people will investigate it. So there's not too much you can say on that. Let it play out. Let's see what happens, and then we'll look at it later from my standpoint.
But, I mean, we see, I don't know, we sometimes, our own people make it hard on ourselves, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it goes back to the government, because we saw it, but the government made the same argument with the doctors, saying a lot of them don't want to check in, and they are putting in time that they was not there for. I think it goes back to efficiency in terms of where we have to put the money where it needs to be. And the same as though we need a proper HR, the government needs a proper HR system, whether it be facial recognition, something where as though
that's good, Michael.
We know it's you who's showing up to work, whether it be fingerprint. At the end of the day, if we have to adjust the laws to facilitate these type of systems. But no, you just can't walk and sign and any, because that's old. That's like back in the 60s, 70s, 70s, 80s. Now you have all kind of HR initiatives out there where you can go fingerprint, facial recognition. We know that that's you who's actually signed in. But I think the government needs to invest in technology, whereas though we can be more efficient and make sure we don't have things like this slipping through the cracks and people getting paid when they should not be paid.
I agree. Quickly, we have a few more minutes left, so I want to just talk about this. Colby Davis, Transport Minister, is obviously very upset at the jitney shooting out east on Tuesday morning. She says once the investigation is complete, certainly steps will be taken and decisions made, which could possibly include, especially based on what this was, just like a movie. You heard about the movie out east the other morning?
I was there.
You were there.
I had just dropped off my daughter to school, and I was going down Yamacraw, and I was like, what the? And I was supposed to take a right by the prison, and when I heard the shots.
Oh, you heard the shots?
I went straight ahead, and I was like, and I saw police flying by. I was like, what the hell is going on?
A whole movie in the middle of the morning.
But, and look who it is. It's bus drivers. I put this on transportation. They need to really put some...
Revamp that system.
Something needs to be done. They need to vet these. She said
there's a vetting process. Who vets them?
Man, something.
Who vets them?
You see the type of...
There is a vetting process. However, people continue to slip through the crack.
You see the amount of these psychotic drivers driving these buses. It's still happening. I sit every day on the road and be like, why? How could they have people in those buses driving like maniacs the way that they do?
Maniacs. It is just disturbing.
And now they shooting at each other?
And to now, doggone, pull out guns and act like you someplace in a Bonanza show episode, and you just shooting, and people are in both buses. Innocent people. Not at all involved in the foolishness you all have going on.
Shanique, you know what they need? I think they need to start instilling some serious fines on these so-called owners of these jitney companies, whereas though they take more responsibility in terms of making sure whoever they put in these buses are more responsible, because at the end of the day, it's like you got a slap on the wrist, something has to change, because this is a deteriorating industry.
And Shanique, Michael alluded to something, and we were there, I know when I first came into the industry that certain behavior from drivers, number one, would cause the driver into problem. And if this driver continued to drive that vehicle, road traffic would call the owner of these franchises and say your franchise is in jeopardy of being pulled because of the driver that you have, his behavior, his demeanor. There are things that we can do to mitigate against these things. Now, I know the minister talked about allowed investigation to go on, but because these two drivers were involved, I think right now they should not even be on the road, okay? And while the investigation go on, they should not be in those vehicles. Obviously, some things went on that should not have went on between both of them. And so they should be sitting it out. But there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot that we have done that worked before and we can do.
But we have a whole CCTV system throughout all of the streets of the Bahamas. They just need to put a crew in front of those watching. Just look out for bus drivers. If you see them driving recklessly, a special team just geared towards that, and fire them one by one as you catch them out the door. Put it on the actual owners of these companies. Something gotta happen, because we can wait too late until somebody loses their life, or individuals lose their lives, and then we can say, oh, we're gonna do something about it.
Here's an unpopular thought, which will not happen ever. But how about making it a state-run bus system where the state, of course, that's taking away these licenses from everybody and all this.
Bring them all together and make them owners of the
They can be shareholders. If you have franchise, you can become a shareholder within this entity that is ultimately controlled quasi by the government.
And they did that with the port. I think the port was
they had a pilot program. Shanique, there was a pilot program. I don't know what happened to it, but there was a pilot program to do that. It already started.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I thank you both very much. Of course, thank you very much to the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Halson Moultrie, who joined me at the top of tonight's show. And then, of course, the Hot Topics panelist, Michael Turnquest, Ellington Ferguson. And thank you to all of you who tuned in this evening. We certainly enjoyed having you along and look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.